The door to the ship bay office opened, and all the Infinigan eating lunch turned to look. Sam walked in and pulled up a stool at the table. He reached over and grabbed a star clam and started eating. Shineless was in the corner chewing on a squishy. "Hey, Sam," she said. "Hey, any progress today?" "Yeah." Spitzlittle spoke up from the head of the table. "We're about to run through final checks. Did you want to look it over with me?" Sam was working on a chewy part. He swallowed and then answered, "Yes, I need to see it." After lunch, the crew entered the pressurized bay. The Infinigan had their breathers on to modify the standard air to their glimmer air. Spitzlittle led Sam and Shineless across the suspended platform to the side of the Omega mech. Sam ran his hand along its hull. "The hard contactor relays you mentioned turned out to work great," Spitzlittle said. "Load tests show instant power transfer. The arcs off at channel back in and are stored in capacitors. Brilliant design." Sam laughed. "Don't give me the thanks. It's a standard back home. Should have been in the files Orbit gave you." Shineless bobbed her ears. "There are a lot of files." "True. Can't be an expert in a cycle." He climbed up a ladder and into an access port under the right arm. Sam ran his hands over the welds. "Did you run spectrograph over these?" "Yes. The welds are all sound," she replied. Shineless climbed up the front ladder and entered the cockpit. She began booting up the system's computer. She shouted through the open port, "Sam, I want to test it. Get off." Sam looked over the power cabling. He nodded approval and backed out of the access port. "Looks good. I say we let her take it for a spin." Spitzlittle was looking at her datapad. "Start firing up the load sequences." She raised her two right hands. "Everyone vacate the bay. Depressurization in 5. Everyone was watching from the office bay window. Shineless powered up the cold core. Gravity sling engines kept it in place as the platforms retracted. With the air pumped out, the bay doors opened to space. "Going to throttle one, leaving bay," she said over her comm. The Omega started moving, floating toward the doors. It exited into empty space. Shineless throttled up a step, and it gained speed, moving away from the station. "How is navigation?" Spitzlittle asked through the speakers. "Scanners are registering all the ship traffic. Highlighting and navigation are working. I'm picking up the ocean growers way out there. I'm going to do a lap to them and back. I will alert them to our testing," Orbit said over the channel. Shineless pushed the lever forward. The Omega locked on the ocean grower ship and used the gravity sling to pull it toward their massive ship. The twain disappeared quickly behind her, becoming a small dot on her readout. "Testing boost drive." She swung the controls hard right while hitting the thrust release button. The mech catapulted to her right in a controlled high spin and recovered its orientation. "Testing other direction." She swung hard left, boosting. The mech spun and recovered. She slowed the throttle down as she neared the ocean grower vessel. "Hailing, ocean growers." "Hello, human. How are you today?" she asked with a laugh in her voice. "Hungry." "What?" She put the mech in hover. "Why are you hungry? Are you okay?" "We are hungry, starving. We have food. All you have to do is ask." She pressed the channel button. "You copy them, Orbit?" "Yes, I heard," Orbit replied. Shineless transmitted back to the ocean growers. "Did you want us to bring over a food shipment?" "We do not have anything to trade. You have already helped us greatly. We do not want to be in your debt anymore." Sam came over the channel to the ocean growers. "This is Sam. I came aboard your ship." "Greetings, Sam. I'm not going to have you starve out there. We can work on getting you food. Head back over to the station, send over your dietary requirements, and I'll get my people working on it." "No," the massive creature answered. "You have helped us. We have no way to repay, nor do we want to. Let us to our fate. We thank you for your help." Shineless maneuvered the Omega to the side of the ship. She placed its hands on the frame of the hull, and Target locked the twain with the gravity sling drive. She throttled up. The stars began moving rapidly as she and the ocean growers started moving toward the twain. Halfway to the station, she boosted across the hull, skidding the mech's hand down the side and stopping on the opposite side. She slowly started thrusting the opposite direction. The ocean grower ship slowed as the twain grew larger on the display. The ship stopped near the incoming shipping lane. Impressive skill use, Spitzlittle said. The training program worked exceptionally. You risked everyone's lives, that was stupid, Sam said. I got bit by a baby preserver going to the bathroom this morning. Who let that happen? Shineless retorted. Sam sighed through the comm. Did you at least smash it? Of course, Shineless said as she boosted around the twain. Everyone ready? I'm bringing it back into the bay. Spitzlittle adjusted some controls on her datapad. Everyone is accounted. Omega, you are cleared for landing. Shineless eased the Omega back into its berth in the bay. The bay doors began shutting. That was fucking fun, she said with a smile. Sam was at his holodesk with Curator, Dam, Guachuk, and 3 totem droids. A large eye was displayed. The eye spoke. I will say it again. We do not want your help. We are indebted too much. Your moving us was a direct violation of our will. Leave us alone. Sam took a breath. We could use your help. The large eye blinked numerous eyelids. We have no means to help. We are a derelict. We are starving. We have no means to help your people. Sam looked over at Curator. She spoke up. We could use an added layer of radiation shielding, and we think you could be of help. A large fin tentacle moved past the eye. Curator continued. We have designed a habitat that could accommodate you and your people. We have housed numerous species here you would just add to us. This design, however, would encircle the outer ring, providing significant cosmic ray shielding. You wish to use our water? It asked. Sam leaned in. We wish for you to share our water. We are negotiating for the alloy to construct the project and to source the water for us. The amount of water you will have to swim in will be quadrupled. You will be free to use it to grow the aquatic species you like. Our station is already becoming a hotspot for foodies in nearby systems. You can help supply food to the station as your rent. You would help us live? We could pay off debt? Sam nodded. It's a standard agreement here. You get paid for your work. You are given life space. What say you? We like the starfish peoples. We would like to meet with them again. Gladly. I will have them do the food delivery. Sam looked around the table. Then do we have a deal? The eye blinked its lids slowly. We will take on this debt and open the business you have proposed. Guachuk spoke through his tube speaker. Then it is a deal. Ocean Grower Fisheries has been approved for Twain Stock Exchange. Shares will be available immediately. The totem spun and floated out of the office. Guachuk followed them. Curator waved a hand at Sam. I'll get those cords we talked about, Sam, she said as she left. Sam nodded. He turned back to the large eye. I'm sending you 3 preserver young. Keep them separated. They may try to eat each other, but they are starting to get smart. They can help with your animals. Thank you again, Sam. We plan to be out of debt shortly. We are here to help, Sam said. The eye stared back. Now so are we. The 12 hagfish entered into their new ammonia-rich habitat. The airlock hissed shut behind them. They walked the sloping walls, feeling the metals with their tendrils. One pushed a floating cloth-covered box across the room to a door. Another opened the door and helped push the floating box into the back room. They all followed inside. The 12 gathered around the box, and one stepped forward and pulled off the cloth. With a tendril, it unlatched it and opened the lid. A small creature with many sharp-pointed legs scuttled around inside. The hagfish held the red hair over the creature. It faced a blank spot of its body toward it, and the spot opened up, revealing an ovoid mouth and throat. The hagfish dropped the hair into its gullet. The creature shut its mouth and convulsed. Its legs started quivering. One of the 12 stepped forward and lowered the box to the ground, deactivating the hover motor. They opened the door and slid out one after the other, leaving the convulsing creature alone. Sam ran. Full sprint down the outer circle. Dam and Shineless were close behind. Shineless laughed as she narrowly dodged a large, crusty creature that stepped out from one of the shops. She spun around and raised up her paintball gun, firing 3 shots. 2 missed, and 1 hit Sam in the back of the neck. Ah, fuck! He shouted and held the spot. Nice shot. You got me. Dam caught up and hunched over, catching his breath. That was fun. Good run. Dam gasped. Shineless stood beside Sam and looked at the pink spot where she got him. Nice. Has a purple spot in it already. She touched the center. Sam winced. Ow! It stings! Don't! She laughed and poked it again. Sam slapped her hand. You ass. Dam raised up, having caught his breath. He put his hands on his head. So, wanna go get some lunch? Shineless lowered her paintball gun and hooked it to her belt. Yeah, I'm hungry. She looked at Sam. Did that shipment of cow from Craddock get in? Sam nodded. Yeah, I had Greenfeet's clan start butchering. Cornucopia should have burger already. Dam started walking. Cornucopia it is. The three sat at their table in the back. Sam took a bite out of his burger and stuffed a fry in the side. Dam cleared his mouth and spoke. How is the police academy coming? Sam chewed his bite and swallowed. It's coming along. I think this time it will be better. Dam took a bite off a thin fry. Going with the protect and serve line of thought? Sam nodded. Yeah, it's a pretty diverse class. Just about every clan on the station is represented. We even have 4 scribblers signed on. Shineless spoke through the meat in her mouth. How's that gonna work? The scribblers will be elderly by the time they graduate. She looked at Dam. Right? Dam looked from her to Sam. Yeah, it's good they're a part of it, but what are they gonna do? They signed up familial lines. They will continuously be training their kids to be dispatch. They're gonna work with the Fuimuas. Shineless stuffed more fries in her mouth. That the floating thing that likes your dandelions? Sam nodded. Yeah, it's got a lot of eyes, visual communication and all. It's pretty good on the cameras. Dam nodded in agreement. Smart. How many of them did you get? Just the one. It came on a consortium vessel. Was just traveling around on its pension. Think it'll stay with us? Dam took a bite of burger. Does it just wander around or will it settle down? It said it was about to divide soon. I think it's reproducing or something. Shineless leaned back, shaking her head. You need to get details on this shit. What does reproducing mean for this thing? I don't want to have to squash baby aliens again. She shivered. I heard the grazers found one still hiding in the cornfields. Scary little shits. Sam shrugged. Fuimua seems okay. I asked. It said it was just going to do a divide. 1 into 2. I told it I'd hire them both. Dam smiled. Gonna use the other one for the casino? He pointed with a fry. Sam nodded. He said with his mouth full. Dam rubbed Shineless's leg under the table. She kicked him and he choked for a second on a fry. Shineless smiled at him and then looked at Sam. I heard the scribblers presented a legal case against the preserver for endangerment. What's going to happen with that? Sam smiled. Community service. Dam laughed. Gonna have him in Orange picking trash? Sam smiled even wider. It's good. He dipped a fry in ketchup. He's spending a portion of his day doing filing for the scribblers, and then he has to do rounds over with the grazers feeding the young preservers. Shineless laughed. That's good. Teach him how to parent. Shineless leaned in. Speaking of that, think you could get him to clone me a sister or two? Sam shook his head. I could, but having you two is weird enough. Dam looked at Shineless, then at Sam. Curator got coordinates for 2 more worlds that are overrun with box spiders. She is demanding the totem take her there to clean them up. Dam took a breath. We're going with her. Shineless has never been anywhere. Sam looked at him. And you two think that I need a companion? They looked at each other. Shineless then smiled at Sam. Yeah, pretty much. I'm you, Sam, Dam said. I know what you're like when you get lonely. We want you happy. That's all. Sam ate his last fry and started bussing his plate. He stood up, looking at them. I'll be fine. This place keeps me busy enough. Don't worry about it, all right? He walked his dishes over to the counter and a grazer nodded and took the plate. Was your dinner good? Poap asked. Sam smiled. Very good, just like back home. Poap shouted loudly, whistling and grunting toward the kitchen. He liked it. He says it tastes like home food. The kitchen erupted in roars and hurrahs. Dam and Shineless watched him leave out the door. Sam went down to the Infinigan repair shop. He walked through the shop and to the door in the back. He lifted a breather and put it on, then entered the back workshop. He looked over the shoulders of several Infinigan, busy striping parts and pieces. He stepped up next to Crackletooth, who was working on a large contraption that was as tall as he was. "How's it coming along?" Sam asked. Crackletooth tapped the metal struts with his right hand. "The transmitter attenuator is giving me fits, trying to get the perfect frequency to keep the admittance rift open." Crackletooth leaned in, pulled out a rack of wires and circular circuits. "It won't stay open. Orbit simulations all said it would keep open, but something is wrong." "All right. Sounds like you're making progress, though, right?" Crackletooth looked at Sam, head tilted. "Always making progress. Just sometimes I don't know with what. We keep learning on this. It is fun, interesting, good project." Sam looked around the shop, the glimmering air undulating around him. "What about the crystal the Margot gave me? Did you have time to check that out?" Crackletooth bobbed his ears. "Yes, it's interesting too. Could be very useful." "Useful how?" "It's a crystalline processor. It's a grown computer. Quite amazing." Crackletooth stepped closer and looked up at Sam. "What you want to do with it?" Sam shrugged with his hands. "No idea. Have your crew draw up some ideas for me." Crackletooth clacked his teeth. 3 younger Infinigan ran up with their arm displays active. "My daughters have dozens of ideas already. They are fascinated by it." Sam lifted up his wristband and pulled the files across to it. "All right. I'll look them over before I go to bed." One of the daughters tilted her head and whispered to the other 2. "Humans sleep too much." The other 2 bobbed their ears in agreement, and the 3 walked back to their workstations. Sam watched them for a second, then looked back at Crackletooth. "Thank you for the update. I'm going to go get caught up at control. You need anything?" "No. We are content. Just make sure to look those over. Those 3 are going stir crazy over it. I don't want them doing anything without thought control." Sam looked at him puzzled. "That still bother your people?" Crackletooth bobbed his ears. "The young get it the most. We have gotten good at giving them things to take apart. The shops are smart." He looked at Sam. "But sometimes they get the dream and have to make something." He looked back at the beacon. "I have it with this. I am lucky." He looked back at Sam. "My daughters need something to make." Sam nodded. "I'll look over their proposals and get them something to do." Crackletooth forced an imitation smile, revealing rows of teeth. "Thank you, Sam." Smell and a totem droid walked the length of corridor to the Hagfish Temple. The hall was dark, but neither noticed. Smell could sense the surroundings easily, and the totem scans didn't require light. They approached the airlock door and Smell looked up at the closed circuit camera. "We need to talk." The airlock opened, and the 2 entered. Smell and the droid entered the hazy main room. 3 hagfish slithered over naked. One spoke. "What do you want, Churi?" Smell answered without vocalizing. "We do not want an incident here. Do not anger the humans." The hagfish coiled a tentacle. "We do not want anger from the humans. What do you mean, incident?" "The creature. I know it's here." The 3 hagfish focused on one another. The one in back disappeared into the haze. After a moment it returned, followed by a large beast. The creature walked on numerous chitinous legs. Its face was 5 feet tall, feminine, human. It had a mat of long red hair hanging down. It tilted its head and opened its mouth. Several arms reached out as it hissed. Smell looked at it. "Yes, that. We believe it will cause an incident. We do not want that." The hagfish stepped in front of the monstrosity. "Human law says we can have private security. This is ours. It protects us. It is not an incident, fool Churi. You stupid worm." The totem spoke. "Humans are irrational. Their laws move with their moods, and their moods shift from moment to moment. Guards are allowed, but using their DNA has record as provoking them. We do not want an incident." The hagfish looked back at their guardian. "It is scary. Humans are scary. Guards need to be scary. That is no problem. Humans know this. Intimidation is built into them. The hagfish each stepped closer to the creature and caressed it, tendrils following its curving legs and carapace. One touched its pale face flesh. "It is beautiful. We do not think it will be incident." Smell spoke. "You have been warned. This station may prove to be of importance. Do not jeopardize this project." Smell and Totem turned and went back toward the airlock.